came in and for waiting out in the lobby to pick up all of your papers. I appreciate you being here. I realized in the first session, I stood up here and I just got started. I prayed, but then I just got started without even introducing myself. Probably many of you know who I am because the students are here in the building, but it is still good practice to do that. So I apologize. I am Mrs. Smearsall. I have been the College Credit Plus coordinator at CCS since College Credit Plus started, so this is my 10th year in the program. There was a program before this that I was familiar with as well, so this is something I really enjoy. In addition to that, if you don't know, I also teach science classes here at CCS. Right now I teach upper level biology, college biology, and I teach anatomy and physiology as well. I love teaching. And so this program I think is important, and I'll describe a little bit more why, but I would like to go ahead and pray again, even though some of you were already in here. I would like to just pray as we kick off this second part here. Dear Lord, thank you for everything you give us. I thank you for this school. I thank you for all of the individuals sitting in this room, for the teachers and administration and staff. I thank you for the students. I just thank you that every day I get to come and interact with students who are a true delight in my day. Lord, I ask you to bless each person that is here. Help us be ready for tomorrow because it's tough. And Lord, I ask you just to bless the rest of this evening. We love you, Lord. Amen. Okay, so as you were walking in, I was able to greet a lot of you, and I know that some of you have sat through this meeting for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and I just want to say thank you for continuing to come and meet the requirement for the state and continuing to support that. So I just want to start off by saying thank you. Okay, I like to let you hear from a few different people besides me. I had a couple of quotes in the first session, and I have a couple now. So why is CCP important? I'll just let you read. Okay, one more. I think it's exciting that students who participate in College Credit Plus walk into college knowing they can be successful in college because they've already been successful in college. It really does give them confidence. Students report back to me and say, I already knew how to use the learning management system. I was able to tell other students how to, do things. I knew how to keep myself more organized because I had to learn that before I started college on the college campus. So I just like to report some of those to you. I'm going to jump in with some information about funding because funding is always important information. This is a change. I mentioned this in the first session, but this is a change from last year. There are now 2 funding windows, but I would just like to say, for all of you sitting in this room, just continue to think April 1st is my deadline. April 1st is my deadline to apply for funding. They did now open a second funding window. That funding window opens in the fall. It has to be finished by November 1st, and that can apply towards second semester only. That has been mostly, the reason that has been valuable is for new students who apply to CCS and are accepted after April 1st, even in the summer, have typically had to self-pay for all college courses that they want to take for that year. Now those new students can apply by November 1st to have funded hours for a second semester. Remember that you have to apply for funding every year. Just do this step. I had a parent one year say, it's just work to do the Ohio ID account. I'm not sure I want to do it. I'll just self-pay for the classes. It doesn't take long. There's a funding manual. It walks you through the steps. Parents, don't forget this is your step to do, but this is an important one. So apply for funding, okay? The private school students need to apply every year. I will send the link to the funding manual once it comes out. It usually comes out February 1st. I want you to know that for the last several years, that funding manual has had a date of 2022 on the front cover. So I usually put a note in and say, I know the date says 2022, but it's the same manual. Keep using it. So I did point out to the state, they said, we're going to work on changing that. I don't know if it'll be changed. What is important, though, even if you've taken college classes before, you have to upload a new college acceptance letter every year. A new college acceptance letter every year. So if you're about to be a senior and you have already taken courses in your 9th grade, 10th grade, and 11th grade year, you still have to get a new letter of acceptance from the college. It's called a letter of continued acceptance. That letter will come to the student's email address. So students, when you apply, originally I told you to use your Cincinnati Christian email address, because then your letter of continued acceptance will come to this email. The colleges do a fabulous job of sending this letter early enough that you can upload it, but you have to upload the letter every year. And if you want to take classes through multiple college partners, because this year we have 4 college partners for this next school year, you have to end up uploading a college acceptance letter to every college through which you're going to take classes. Okay, so I just want to let you know that. April 1st, 5 o'clock p.m., just do it earlier than that. April 1st is the deadline. Just think March, because on April 1st, there's going to be a lot of people trying to apply. If you do not submit this by April 1st at 5 p.m., then you do not get funding for the fall. You can always try again in November, but just go ahead and do the funding. So, how many classes can students take? Most of you already know this. The state funds are limited, so you usually are not going to get funded awards for all the classes that you want to take, especially if you are in 11th and 12th grade and want to take multiple classes. Funds are awarded in 4 credit hour increments, is what the state calls it. So that was a state legislature decision. It's kind of an unusual decision because most college classes are not 4 credit hours. But you will either get 4 or 8 or 12, maybe 16, but likely not. We saw most of our seniors this year capped at 12, okay? How many classes? I want to just continue this a little bit. Don't forget, you can self-pay for these classes if you exceed it, but here's one thing to consider. The college, I should say the state, will not pay for part of a class. So because they award this in 4 credit hour increments, maybe you received 8 credit hours from the state, and you want to take 3 credit hour courses. So you want to take 9 credit hours. The state will not allow you, or the state will not pay 8 of those and let you pay for just 1. You have to pay for an entire course. So if you have 8 credit hours and you want to take 3 credit hour courses, the state will only pay for 2 of those courses. So I just like for students to know that in advance. One of the things that is amazing about College Credit Plus is the tuition rate that families pay when they're self-paying. If you have students that are in college, and many of you in here went to college. College was expensive, I felt like, when I went. But as you know, there has been an exponential rise practically in tuition. And so college is very expensive. These rates are remarkable. So I just like to put those there. Cedarville University, a private university, even only because we're a partner with them, if you take classes through them, you only pay $66 per credit hour. For the public colleges, you pay $41.64 per credit hour. Don't forget, students, that is billed to your account. So you need to make sure if you receive a bill, if you know that you have more hours than if you need to pay for some of those, make sure you're looking so that you can pay for those courses. So how many can you take? Well, you can self-pay and continue, but how many really should you take? Okay, high school students, you are high school students. College students are usually taking maybe 15, that's the typical number of credit hours. But they're not also in school straight from 8 until 3 every day, maybe working a part-time job, maybe playing a sport that is every day. So how many should you take? You really need to consider that. Now, we have designed a program that is a stair-step program at CCS. I just want to take a step back and say it is truly remarkable that we can offer so many classes here in our small high school building. When I go to conferences about CCP and I meet with other people, they say, "You offer 19 courses in your building? How do you do that?" The only way we can do that is because we have teachers that have been dedicated to earning a master's in their subject area in order to teach those courses in this building. So as a professor, so I teach a CCP biology class. Anybody who teaches that has to have a degree in their subject area. So my master's is in biology. That was before, I didn't necessarily do that to teach CCP. But we do have some teachers who have decided to go back so that we can offer these courses. We have, I think, the most robust non-public CCP program in the entire state of Ohio in our building. So people are amazed when I hear that. We have way more classes than any of the public schools around here in our building. We did that intentionally. We want you to stay in our building. We don't want you to leave and take a course at Miami University. We don't want you to take online courses. We want you to be a high school student and go to your normal sequence of classes, and some of them you happen to walk into a college classroom. So I just want to say that it is remarkable. Even though we offer all those courses, though, you have to be careful how many of those you take. I really suggest that if students are taking more than 4 CCP courses in a semester, so that would be 12 to 16 to 18 credit hours, that they really limit the number of additional high school classes that they take. Because they also need to eat and sleep and relax. So I am mindful. I will sometimes check. I scan who's taking what. I really recommend that you're very careful. You can, we do allow for different study halls for students that are taking a heavy CCP load. So I just want you to know you should not really be filling up your entire schedule with CCP classes. You are a high school student, and it will be a lot of classes. This is especially important for students who have part-time jobs, who are involved in the drama program, who play sports. You will learn. But our program is that 9th grade students have 1 class that is available here at CCS. 10th grade students have sorry, I had to think there for a minute, 4 classes that are available. And then once they are juniors and seniors, there are a lot more classes available to them. So we did that intentionally so students could kind of walk through and practice a little bit at a time. So remember, these are college classes. I say this every year. If you know that you will be traveling for an entire week of a semester, if you know that you will be out for a significant amount of time, you really need to consider whether or not college classes are worth it. I'm sorry, not worth it, are the best for you. Because you wouldn't go to your college professor and say, just so you know, I'm not going to be here next week, so I missed the test. When can I take it? Are we more flexible here? Of course we are. But this fall, we had 2 students, 2 seniors, who both were gone for a week in the semester. Both of them ended up having to withdraw from a CCP math class because they had missed an entire week of material. And now they are taking that class again in the spring instead. So I like to give you examples so that you know I'm not just making things up. I'm really not making things up. Okay, we're doing a little change here. And this is important. And this is going to be some work on the students' part. So students, if you're kind of zoned out, students, zone back in with me here. You will receive a funding letter from the state of Ohio. Is zone in even a word or a phrase? I don't know. Just pay attention is what I'm saying. Okay. The state of Ohio will send you a funding letter. On your behalf, we, and when I say we, I mean Mrs. Miller in the Student Services Department, who is my assistant in CCP. She will send all of the funding letters to the colleges on your behalf. So when the college says, we need your funding letter, I want you to know if you're taking courses through one of our 4 partner colleges, Mrs. Miller sends those for you. But this has become more and more complicated in terms of funding hours. Because even when we have 2 partners, it's hard for our 2 partners to know who is self-paying and who is using funding hours from the state per course they're taking. So, starting this next school year, every student will need to complete a form that I'll design here soon. And on that form, you will list all the CCP courses that you plan on taking for the entire school year. That means you need, when you register for your courses through the Student Services Department, you will know what those are. You will put those on a form, and then you will designate which college you're taking it through and whether that college should use your funding hours or that you're going to self-pay. Now, I just want to say out loud, if you're taking a course through Cedarville, which is $66 per credit hour, that should be your first priority for using your funding hours. You will need to fill out that form and return it to Mrs. Miller in the Student Services Department so that we can communicate clearly to the colleges and they know whether they should bill you for that class or whether they should send the bill to the state for to use for your funding hours. So more information on that will come, but this is something new, so I want to make sure you know. We need to know starting next year. Okay, underperforming. I need to tell you this because every year we do have students who withdraw from courses, who do poorly in courses, and you need to know that there is a consequence for underperforming in college courses. So, you may be asked if you withdraw or you earn an F in a course, you may be asked by the state to reimburse them if they paid for the course. You may be asked if the state has enough personnel to bill you for that class. So I'm not guaranteeing you will be asked that, but you may be asked to do that. So I need to make sure I tell you that. Okay, there is something called College Credit Plus probation. There are 2 students on it right now this fall. I think that I will not have any, I don't think there will be any on it in the spring. But these are the 2 reasons that you could be placed on CCP probation. And if you are on CCP probation, then for the next semester, you can only enroll in 1 College Credit Plus course, and that course cannot be in the same subject that you just earned a D, F, or withdrew from with no credit. Okay? If students on probation do not increase their GPA or improve what they needed to do, then they can be placed on CCP dismissal. And you're wondering while I'm telling you this, don't forget that all of CCP is run through the Ohio Revised Code and the state legislature, and I'm required to tell you these things, okay? College Credit Plus dismissal, you can see behind me what happens if a student is on. We have not had a student be dismissed from the CCP program, but we do have students who are on CCP probation usually every year because they're learning, and sometimes they just need to step back, and the state wants to make sure that students are not earning a lot of credits and not passing. So you can see there are appeals here. We have a policy. If you're placed on probation, I send you the policy. I don't send it to everybody right away, but you can kind of see what's behind me, and I'm not going to go into any more of that right now. This, though, is important. Mrs. Miller and I are working with a student right now for this. So there's something called satisfactory academic progress for college financial aid. And by the way, there are 4 amazing college representatives that you're going to hear from. I appreciate so much that they were able to come tonight. College representatives, if I am not at the college level, I'm about to talk about SAP. If I do that wrong, will you correct me? Thank you. Okay. If students want to have financial aid in college, if they're going to take out a loan or they're going to use financial aid, then they have to qualify for that. And to qualify for that, there are 3 things they have to meet. Now, the last one we don't see as often, but I want you to, the second bullet point is the one that I think is the most important right now that I've seen at the high school level. Students must complete at least 67% of their attempted college classes. Why is that important? Right now, Mrs. Miller and I checked, and we have a senior who has taken 2 College Credit Plus classes. One of them he earned a B, one of them he withdrew. That means right now, he has only completed 50% of his attempted college classes. That means if he wants financial aid, in the spring, he needs to take CCP classes, and he needs to earn passing grades so that he can get that number from 50% to 67%. Tara, was that anything you would think would be important to add? Thank you. Could you guys hear that over here? Thank you. Perfect. I appreciate that. Okay, underperforming student rules. Here at CCS, even though when you earn a D, that is passing and you receive credit, if you earn a D, you are not eligible to move to the next sequence of classes. So for example, if you earn a D in English Composition 101, we do not progress you to English Composition 102. Okay? Again, our students usually do very well. I'm just talking about these things because they're important. There are a lot of athletes sitting in the room. So here's what you need to know. CCP grades are considered in determining athletic eligibility because they go on your transcript. So there are, eventually you'll get a copy of this presentation. There is a link to the guidelines. We have kind of a flow chart of what happens. I just want you to know they count. There's not a lot you need to know. We, meaning myself and the athletic department, keep a close eye on this to make sure that students maintain their eligibility. The one thing that's important to know is if for some reason after a spring semester you are not eligible to play your fall sport, you cannot take a CCP class or CCP classes in the summer in order to become eligible. So it is included in your athletic eligibility. I do like to mention the Ohio Transfer 36. This is a really exciting program that has gained a lot of traction here at CCS, especially this current school year. The Ohio Transfer 36 is a program that is not intended for everybody. I just want to say that. But it is a program in the state of Ohio through which you can earn 36 credit hours before you graduate, college credit hours, that are all general education credits, and they count toward what would be like a block, which means at any public college in the state of Ohio that you go to, you have completed all of your general education credits. So we had our first student do this 2 years ago. He earned the Ohio Transfer 36. He went to Miami University, and he had already completed what Miami calls the Miami Plan. Is that right? Okay. Which is a sequence of classes. It doesn't mean he had to take all of the same courses that Miami says are part of their Miami Plan. Instead, he needs to complete the Ohio Transfer 36. 2 years ago, we had one student complete the Ohio Transfer 36. Last year, we had one student complete the Ohio Transfer 36. This year, we have 8 students who are completing the Ohio Transfer 36. I would like to again say, this is not beneficial for everybody. If you're going into nursing, the Ohio Transfer 36 does not really benefit you, and I can tell you why and all of that later. But we truly appreciate working with Cincinnati State on this. Cincinnati State has been willing to work with our students because we don't confer the Ohio Transfer 36. A college has to do that. They give them a certificate. They can take that to their college. Now, again, if you're going to a college that is a private college or outside of Ohio, it doesn't mean that you've completed the block. But in general, colleges have the same general education requirements, right? Your English, your math, your social studies, your science, some electives. So all of that is there. I will be having a meeting in mid-January during lunch here at school for students, and I just want to say this is probably more for 10th and 11th graders. 9th graders, you can learn about it more next year. But if you're in 10th or 11th grade and you're interested in this, then I will email you. I'll have an announcement so that you know, and we can talk more about that. Schedule changes. This is on the college schedule, remember. So colleges run 2 options to make a schedule change. One of those is called a drop or no fault deadline, where within 14 days, you can decide this was not the course for me. I am going to drop this course. If you do that, the course does not appear on your transcript, and it's like you never took it. That is called dropping the course. If you stay in the course past 14 days, on 15 days and past that, it is called a withdrawal. This is different because for a withdrawal, you do get a W on your transcript. The course appears, then you get a W. Now, I want you to know, many people have a few W's on their transcript. Having a W is not a terrible thing. I earned a successful bachelor's degree from the University of Cincinnati in biology and had 2 W's on my transcript. So that's okay. You just have to be careful if you're only taking a couple of classes that you're not withdrawing from them. So I, again, keep an eye on that. I will send, I put Mrs. Smearsall, but it'll actually be Mrs. Miller that will be sending reminders about these dates. You'll hear about these. I am pretty careful about making sure I email all of our teachers and ask, do you have any students earning low C's or below? And they let me know who they are, and I personally talk to those students, and I say this. You need to consider withdrawing from this course. It is better to earn a W than to earn a D or an F in a college course while you're in high school. So I make sure to meet with those students and give them advice on the best course. And then I say to them, remember, your parents don't currently know what your grade is in this course. But they will eventually know if you earned an F in the course, because that will be on your high school transcript. So I suggest go home, talk to your parents and say, I'm really struggling in this course. Mrs. Smearsall suggests that I withdraw from that. Have a conversation. I can't make them, but you have good relationships with your students, and you know, they will let you know if they're struggling, and then you can give them advice on what you consider as well. In order to complete courses and earn credit, you have to have a D or above. A grade of an F confers no credit, and it's factored into the GPA. Okay? If you get a W, you earn no credit, but it does not factor into the high school GPA. A grade of D confers credit, is factored into the GPA, but you don't want to earn a D. So that's when a withdrawal, and I have it on there. Our high school transcript grade will exactly match the college transcript grade. Okay, reminder, parents, this is the page for you, especially if you are considering this for your student for the very first time. There is a federal law called FERPA, the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act. And that says that it will protect student records. If a student is a college student, regardless of their age, parents do not have access to their academic information. Now, I can send you information and say the withdrawal deadline is coming up. Here's when it is. But I, as a CCP biology teacher, cannot reach out to a parent and say, I want to let you know that your student is struggling. Will you have a conversation and help them? I am not allowed to do that. It would break a federal law. I don't know if it's law, regulation, whatever it is. I can't do it, okay? So parents, you will not see this course on Schoology. This course will be on the college learning management system. So you will not see that. Students can, and many of you may have a college student right now, students can release records for their parents to see if the student completes a form with the college. If the student does that, then the college will let the professor know that they can have conversations with the student. Where that impacts us a little bit is in terms of conferences or conversations. And this is where Mrs. Stone and I always say the same thing. Oh, we don't like this. We really, at CCS, you know this if you're sitting in here, we want to partner with parents. It's important to us. It's part of our school culture. And then we run into this, and we cannot. And this is hard. But CCP is valuable. And so we still have decided to do it. And so parents, I like to say that out loud. Okay, I'm about to put up a list of courses that are going to be offered this next school year. We are going to be offering a record 21 CCP courses here at CCS with our own teachers. 21 doesn't mean you should take all 21, but 21 classes. I just want to say, this is amazing. I'm so excited about this. So many of these are the same, but there are a few things I want to point out that are different. First, I'm going to list the courses that are taught through our partner of Cincinnati State. That is where we have more courses than anywhere else. I am making a change in the science department for next year. So if you're looking at this, you may see that instead of doing, and this students, you're the ones that know a lot of this because you've seen the program of studies and you've been here in my classroom, some of you. Instead of offering biology 1 and 2, I am offering anatomy and physiology 1 and 2. Okay, so that's a change. We will likely rotate anatomy and physiology next year, CCP biology the following year. That is the plan. Okay? We're offering the same 3 math classes, statistics, calculus 1 and calculus 2. We're offering 2 history courses through Cincinnati State. And while I'm on this slide, I do want to make sure that I've said this out loud. Every course that is 3 credit hours or above, all of the courses we offer on this campus are 3 credit hours or above. They're all 3 to 5 credit hours. Each course counts for 1 high school credit, not a half credit. So if you take Statistics 1, which is a 1-semester class in college, here with Mr. Salmond in either the spring or the fall, it's just a 1-semester class, you have earned 1 full math credit for high school. That is the state law. That whatever we think about that, I just want you to know that. So here are the some of the courses through Cincinnati State. This is science, math, and history. Continuing with Cincinnati State, we offer a sequence of English composition 1 or 2. I do like to say this. The vast majority, almost all, of our CCS students, by the time they are seniors, are ready to try at least 1 CCP course. I explain it this way. If you're a senior and you're going from January to May, it's only going to be a few short months before you walk onto the college campus and take these courses. And the first course that we always recommend, if any students want to try 1 course, would be English Composition 1. Okay, so I've talked to many students who are juniors and seniors, and then they say, I'm just not sure, I'm ready. And I say, go talk to the English teachers and see what they would think. So I like to point that out. We are unbelievably blessed to be able to offer a 4-course sequence in a foreign language. Senora Hyde teaches our Spanish courses. And if you'll notice, they say grades 9 through 12 for all of them. We do sometimes have students come in who are already fluent Spanish speakers, and they don't need to start with Elementary Spanish 101. So the majority of our students do that. If you're in 8th grade and you're sitting in here, and you are in Spanish 1. Actually, will you raise your hand if you're in 8th grade and you're taking Spanish 1 with Senora Rodriguez? Anybody? Nobody. Okay, I see some hands. So here's why I'm saying that. If you take high school Spanish 1, then if you choose to jump into the college Spanish sequence, you will automatically go to Spanish 102. We are absolutely confident that you are ready for Spanish 102. So I just want you to know that you don't repeat 101. Okay, 2 brand new courses through Cincinnati State. We are now offering a literature course and a theater course. Now, here's one of the reasons these 2 courses are really important. It's really hard to find courses that satisfy an arts and humanities requirement. It is really a challenge. In fact, a lot of the colleges will say it's hard for students to complete the Transfer 36 because they can't find arts and humanities courses. So we are offering these 2 courses so that students can fulfill arts and humanities. Plus, it's really exciting that we're offering these 2 courses. Mrs. Minlin will be teaching the course on the short story, and Mrs. Bauman will be teaching history of theater. These are open to students in grades 11 and 12. The course, the literature course, requires that you will have completed English 101. So that it will be in the program of studies, but it's good for me just to say that out loud. These 2 courses are new courses that we're really, really excited about. So I'll talk about a couple new ones again in a minute. Okay, this is new. If you're sitting in this room, there is a new requirement in the state of Ohio when you go to college. This is if you go to college in Ohio and you go to a public college. And I know not all of you will do that, but if you do, this is important for you to hear. This past fall, I think, the state of Ohio passed a law that every student who graduates college in the year 2030 or beyond has to take a course in American civic literacy, a 3-credit-hour course, every bachelor's degree in the state of Ohio. And there are I've never seen very specific requirements like this from the state, but there are very specific requirements. They have to read the entire Constitution, they have to read 3 of the Federalist Papers, and I don't have them all in my brain. But in order to help students fulfill that, we have decided to have a new college partner. Sinclair College is combining government with the new civics requirement. So in one semester, students can meet their high school government requirement and their college civics requirement. So we are offering, this will be taught by Mrs. Wright. So that means she's teaching a couple courses through Cincinnati State and this course through Sinclair. So I just want you to see that. Okay, Cedarville. These are the 3 courses we offer. We're very excited to partner with Cedarville. And the way that we do this is that we have 3 courses that have CCS daily instructors. So our teachers teach the course in front of the students every day. It is a Cedarville course. They're teaching the Cedarville course. But there is an official Cedarville professor of record. So it's just good to know that. It's great. Okay, the next slide I'm going to put up is probably what I'm most excited about because this is something new. I've been saying we are behind in I believe, in one very specific area at CCS. We prepare students very well. We hear back from our alumni that they have felt very well prepared. But we have a lot of students who want to go into a certain college area, and at CCS we have nothing for them. Until now. I am so excited to let you know that starting next year we will be offering our first 2 business courses. Mr. Monson, are you in here? I feel like I saw you. I am so excited that we will have a new CCS teacher next year. Mr. Monson is already a CCS parent, and he is a professor of business at the University of Cincinnati. And not only am I really excited about these 2 business courses, if you think I'm excited about these business courses, you should hear Mr. Monson and his level of excitement about these business courses. The first one, Survey of Business, will be in the fall. This is so wonderful because what this course does is it introduces students to all of the little areas in business. Now, I just want to say I have a bachelor's and a master's in biology. I will sound ignorant if I start saying too much. about this area, but students will learn about the difference between accounting and finance and marketing. How am I doing, Mr. Monson? Am I doing okay? Okay. He is here. He came. He doesn't have a student taking CCP courses. He came tonight to answer your questions. So at the end, if you are interested in business and you think, oh, this is really exciting, you should introduce yourself to Mr. Monson. He'll be, I'm going to say up here, how's that, at the end, so that you can hear from him. In the fall, we'll be offering a survey of business, and in the spring, we will be offering Introduction to Marketing, our first business courses. We have a lot of students who say, I'll ask the seniors, what are you thinking about studying? I'm thinking about business. Which area? I don't really know. And I can't advise them because I honestly don't really know the difference between all of these. I mean, I know accounting does a lot of math, et cetera, but we are very, very excited about this. So this is the biggest celebration for us. I'm not going to take too much longer because I know you've been sitting here a long time. I do want to mention that we have a special program that is a block program during 7th and 8th bell reserved for juniors and seniors only. Some of our classes will be offered in this, we call it CCP Accelerate. It will be offered in those blocks. So for example, the business courses will be offered in a block, which means Mr. Monson will be here 2 days. Did we already say which days? Monday and Friday, he will be here for his classes, and he'll be here for 7th and 8th grade, the 7th and 8th bell block. So this feels more like college, where you go to class 2 times a week for a longer period of time. We consider this kind of a stepping stone. On Wednesday, they still go for 1 bell. We have found that students really enjoy this program. What if they only want to take a class that meets 2 of them? What if they want to take a business class, but there isn't a CCP Accelerate class that they want to take on Tuesday, Thursday? What do they do then? They have some options. They can leave early on those 2 days with parent permission. They can go to a study hall. They can become a teacher's aide. They can go out into the community and do community service 1 or 2 days a week. So there are different options that they can do there. I just want you to know that. Okay, you have a handout that has colors on it that says Model Pathways. We need to offer model pathways through the state. I changed these some from last year, I want you to know. So I only have 2 of them here, and I know it's hard to even read the words. I want to be able to refer to it. I have developed 6 model pathways, including engineering, business, education, nursing, and health sciences. Health sciences, I know, in fact, I saw Fernanda walk in. Fernanda, where are you? Where is she? Oh, there she is. Okay. Fernanda is interested in going possibly pre-med. Now, when I was in college, if you wanted to go pre-med, you got your degree usually in biology or chemistry, something like that, and then you applied to medical school. For a lot of the graduate programs now, pre-pharmacy, pre-occupational therapy, pre-physical therapy, athletic training, pre-med, many of them get their bachelor's degree in something called health sciences. This is an important pathway, so I changed some things this year to include the pathway because it's different than the nursing pathway. So let me just tell you a tiny bit about this. There are colors, and you have the color codes at the bottom. I did this so that you can see the classes that are offered through each college. You don't have to do these. If you want to go into business, I'm not saying, look at this and take every single one of these classes. But what I am saying is if you want to go into business and you're trying to decide which CCP classes to take, this is where you want to look. These are the classes that we know by looking at the curricula of colleges that you will need to take. Now, some of them, I just want to point out, have 3 blocks on them. Let's see, like this one. My laser won't point at this. So on the business, for example, there's a block that says Bio 151 and 152, or Bio 131 and 132, or a natural science sequence. Because to get a degree in biology, you're still going to have to take a sequence of 2 science courses with a lab. You can complete those in any way you want. You can take anatomy and physiology here on our campus, or you can choose to take a sequence online. You can decide, but I'm just giving you some choices. So you can see the colors for which classes are offered through which college. And if they're in yellow, that means we don't offer it here on our campus. But if you're looking for an online course to add, and you feel like you're ready to take an online course, especially as a junior or a senior, the ones in yellow are classes that we would suggest that you take depending on what you're looking into. So those are the model pathways. Okay, I just want to celebrate for a minute and tell you that I did the math on Sunday. And this current school year, CCS students collectively will earn over 1,300 credit hours. 1,300. Last year, the number I had up there was 1,100. We're increasing our options. Well, we have a higher enrollment, but in general, we just have students who are taking advantage of this amazing program. I already told you, next year we're going to have 21 on-campus CCP courses. Why does this matter? If you take even 12 to 15 credit hours before you graduate, you can see some numbers if you were able to cut off 1 semester of college. Those are really big numbers. If you are able to complete a year of college, double those. This is a fantastic opportunity, but again, I've mentioned you don't always just want to cut off a year, and sometimes it's not possible, but it does give you other options to earn another major or a minor or something else to add on there. So, what are you going to do next? When you walked in, we went ahead and gave you what is called the counseling session document. This is from the state of Ohio. It is required that you complete this. You were already here. So if a parent and a student is here, sign that while you're here and give it to Mrs. Miller or put it on the table on the way out. She has a pile of them, I think, already. If a parent is here and the student could not come because they had a job tonight or an athletic contest or whatever it was, they still need to complete this requirement, even if they've done it multiple times. It's an annual requirement. So this presentation will be posted on the CCS website. I know what they don't want to do is sit and watch Mrs. Smearsall and her presentation on the website. All I can tell you is it is required by the state of Ohio. We need that piece of paper before you start classes in the fall. We'd really, really like to have it before you leave in May. So if you were here tonight, sign it. You can check that off. Next week are scheduling meetings to learn more about the courses that are going to be offered at CCS in general for next year. Feel free to, this slideshow will be posted on the website if you need to refer to it. Talk about it, come to me with questions or Mrs. Miller, and then go ahead and start your college applications, students. I do want to say this, if you plan on taking one of the business courses, the University of Cincinnati requires that Mrs. Miller send your transcript using a platform called Parchment. So if you want to take one of those courses, you're going to need to create a Parchment account. You will receive an email about that. But you have to do it. You have to create the account. If you create the account, Mrs. Miller will have a request and she can upload your transcript. The rest of them, she will just go ahead and batch and send them. Okay? Mrs. Miller and I work as a team, but I like for you to see which one of us do you go to. Now, if you send it to me and it really needs to go to Mrs. Miller, then I just forward it to her. But if you're wondering, if I need a transcript, do I talk to Mrs. Smearsall or do I talk to Mrs. Miller? Transcripts, you talk to Mrs. Miller. If you have questions about the Transfer 36, you ask me. We do work together, but we've kind of split some roles there so that you can see that. Okay. I want you to know that tonight we have 3 of our 4 college partners represented. We have somebody from Cincinnati State, Cedarville, University of Cincinnati. We have classes with them here on this campus. Miami University representative is also here because you can take classes through any college. So even if we don't offer it here, you can take classes through Miami University or another college. So each of the representatives have a table. They have been here listening the whole time. They've done this multiple years in a row. So 2 of them, I told them if they wanted to just tell you a couple of things from the stage, I would love that, especially the partners that we have had for multiple years. So Mrs. Sword, do you want to come up? We have been partners with Cincinnati State since CCP started. They have been our longest standing partner. We appreciate them so much. So I'm going to give this to you.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, we'll go with it. Arrow. Perfect. So first of all, I just want to tell you guys how lucky you are to have Mrs. Smearsall and Mrs. Miller leading your CCP. They do an amazing job. So my name is Tara Sword. I'm the director from Cincinnati State. I just want to share a couple things. So Mrs. Smearsall hit on most of this, so I'll try to keep it short. So there's our qualifications. Every college does look a little bit different with that. So when you're thinking about, do I qualify outright? What does this look like? This will be in the presentation for you to review, as well as the QR code to be able to access our application portal. Our contact is on the bottom. Enough said. So one thing that I really like to share when we're out at these events, and Mrs. Mearsall talked about this a little bit, CCP, like the sky's the limit, right? You guys are seeing that from what she's talking about in terms of the different pathways and the different options and the things that are available. So this is just a snapshot last year of what CCP students through Cincinnati State completed credit-wise. Everything on here in the first 4 buckets, they're to be expected. They're the English, the math, the science, the social studies. What I want you to take away today as well, in addition to those things, if you're like, I get enough gen ed stuff during my normal coursework at Cincinnati Christian, it's this last bucket. 30% of 5,000 CCP students last year at Cincinnati State took something else. Something that excited them, something that interested them, something that made them think, I might want to do this in my future. So don't ever be afraid to be an explorer. We've hit on this a little bit. We lay it out this way. This is the OT36 Mrs. Smearsall talked about. So this is just a sort of a visual breakdown of what that contains. Again, if you think that it's for you and you want to try to do that bucket, yeah, feel free to snap a photo. It'll be in the presentation as well. But that's what you need to have to complete that core. And last thing, we put this together. Mrs. Smearsall said, we've been a partner with Cincinnati Christian for a really long time. We're really proud of that partnership. We're really proud of the growth that we've had. So we just took a minute to put together some statistics to share with you guys. So this year, we have 14 classes here in the building. Obviously, we have some new exciting offerings next year, so we're super excited about those. By the way, feather in your cap, you are the only partner we have that will be offering theater. So I think that's pretty cool. So not only that, Cincinnati Christian is one of our approved Higher Learning Commission learning sites. So what does that mean? That means that in your building, you are offering 50% of a degree or certificate through Cincinnati State. That means that when we submit our accreditation paperwork to the Higher Learning Commission and we list our sites, we list our Clifton campus, we list our Middletown campus, we list Cincinnati Christian. So if we're having an accreditation visit, I might have to call Mrs. Smearsall and Mrs. Miller and say, hey, buckle up because we're coming to visit. So we never know. You guys are an approved site through our accreditors, and that is a huge accomplishment. We have had a CCP advisor in the building this year meeting with students, doing planning, talking about options, talking about interests. So come see Beth. She's amazing. She'll be there to help you and answer any questions. And then Mrs. Smearsall touched on this a little bit. We have had in the last 2 years, 2 Cincinnati Christian students who have earned associate degrees with us. That's not for everyone, but it's for some. And if you're starting early, those are the options you can explore. And Sue calculated 11 OT 36s, so we might need to figure out where that is, but I think that could be. Sue found 11. And then outside of that, if those kind of markers are not really what you're looking for, but you're just looking to do some courses, the buckets at the bottom are for between last year and this year's projected graduating seniors, how many credit hours they've earned. 30 students have earned 24 plus, just with us. That doesn't count what they took at Cedarville. That doesn't include what they've taken at Miami, Sinclair, wherever else. So again, the sky really is the limit. Don't be afraid to be an explorer, and I'll be back in the corner if you have any questions.
Okay. There are some slides on here for the University of Cincinnati. I want you to know again that this slideshow will be posted. We are not going to have them come up. She chose just to have the slides on here, but a lot of it I've already talked about. You can look on this information for the University of Cincinnati, especially if you want to do a business class, or if you think, you know, I think I'm going to go to the University of Cincinnati. I should think about taking another class through UC. Then you can look on here and see some of the information that is on here. Their application process is on here as well. All right, Cedarville. Oh, there you are, thank you. Okay, we have been partners with Cedarville for several years. We're excited about that because it allows us to also have a partner with a Christian college. And so we're excited about that, and I'm just going to let her talk for a minute or two. She's going to keep it, she said, I want to keep it brief.
All right, well, good evening. My name is Kristen Kenov, and I am happy to represent Cedarville University tonight. And I suppose I get the rare privilege of going last on an evening where everyone wants to go home. So I'll make it very, very short. So I work as a dual enrollment advisor at Cedarville, and Mrs. Smearsall has just done such a wonderful job of walking you all through the CCP funding application process, and what a wonderful experience you as families have at CCS. Just really encouraged by what you all have to offer here. So at Cedarville University, we do believe that every day matters. And whether you are a student on campus here at CCS taking a Cedarville course, or whether maybe in the future you come as a residential student to our campus, or maybe you want to do one of our online undergraduate programs, which we have just instituted this year. Whatever the case may be, we want you to know that you matter to us and that we desire to invest in your journey. So that's the goal. One thing I want to say, if you are just considering Cedarville this year for the first time, you do need to apply, Gina said, and the sooner the better. So I would encourage you, if you'd like to secure CCP funding, to apply to Cedarville in January so that you can have your acceptance letter by February 1st. Funding window opens. That would be very important. We are looking for a 3.0 cumulative high school GPA, and that would include at least one semester of high school classes in the areas of English, social studies, math, and science. And if you don't have those high school classes, then we would need you to do some testing, usually through an exam called the AccuBlazer, in order to be accepted. One other opportunity I want to mention, just for 10th and 11th graders, if you are a current 10th or 11th grader, we offer a program called Summer Scholars. It's in June this year. It's a 2-week residential experience where you can come to Cedarville, pretend you're a college student for 2 weeks, live in the dorms, take a class. We offer 5 classes. You can choose one, and you would get live classroom lectures. You'd get to live in the dorm with other high school students, just kind of get a feel for college classes and get one class out of the way. So the great news about that is that your CCP funding will cover that if you have enough. Otherwise, the tuition would be at your $65 per credit hour rate, and you would pay room and board. So I just want to let you know about that. Registration opens April 8th, so you can come back to the table and talk to me if you'd like more information about that. Otherwise, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight, and I hope you all have a great evening. Thank you, Gina.
There are some other slides that you can see on here from Cedarville. You can look through these. Again, these will be on the website so that you can look through those. We do also have, some slides on here for Miami University. We do have several students who have taken online classes with Miami University because they plan on going to Miami University. So the Miami University representative is here. I really appreciate that. If you're interested in going to Miami Hamilton campus, or I should say a regionals campus or the main campus, those classes will automatically be Miami classes, and you can talk to her at the back table as well. Okay? Look at that. I feel like I went longer this year than last year, and I apologize. I tried. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you for the experience. I have loved being the CCP coordinator. I have found it to be an important thing to invest in, so I appreciate your time. Let me just pray a blessing on you as you leave this evening. Dear Lord, I ask you to bless each person here. I ask you to give them wisdom as they are considering whether or not CCP and college classes are the best decision. I ask you to also give them wisdom in the next month as they are considering their courses for next year after hearing and receiving our program of studies. I thank you so much for the college representatives that are here, and I ask you to bless them as well. Lord, again, we always thank you for your love, your kindness, your mercy, your grace, and the fact that you sent your son here to die on the cross for us and rise again so that we could live in eternity with you. We love you, Lord. Amen. I'll be up here if you have questions. Mr. Monson will be up here. Thank you for your time.